think folks are coming back. Everybody can hear me okay? So in today's practice, we're definitely gonna need a block. We're definitely gonna need our tennis balls. And if you have the 2 tennis balls I emailed everybody in the beginning of the course inside a tube sock, this piece will be important today in the final part of the practice. And I just want to speak to that before we get to it because I want to make sure everybody practices it safely. On either side of the spine, there's this groove here, and that's the laminar groove. We're going to be using the tennis balls over the spinous processes to come across to either laminar groove. So it'll just cross over. So we're not pressing the tennis ball on the spinous processes here. We're not going to compress those. We'll just bring it across. And you should know that if something doesn't feel good, don't do it. All right, that's another hint. But when we get to that, I just want to make sure everybody knows the anatomy. That's going to be important so nobody gets hurt. So we're going to start seated. Again, find that sweet spot on the base of your sits bone, not too far back, not too far forward. And just relax your hands face down. Wiggle out your shoulders a little bit so we're not creating tension in the shoulder girdle. Softly close your mouth, lower the gaze over the nose, and start to sip the breath in through the nose and out through the nose. We'll move right into Nadi Shodhana breathing today, alternate nostril breathing to balance sympathetic and parasympathetic. So you'll use your thumb and your pointy finger to close off the alternate nostril. So we'll start with open right side, close off your left nostril, breathe in through the nose, then close it off, open up the left and exhale out through the left nostril. And then continue this, inhaling up through the left, closing it off and exhaling out the right. Inhale up through the right, exhale out through the left. And continue. We'll do a few more repetitions. And release that, bringing the hand down. Come back into an inhale and exhale through the nose. And now we'll do Viloma breathing. We'll start with a halfway. If you want to add another variation, you could do the holds in thirds. So play with what you feel like challenging yourself into today, but I'll teach with halfway. So we'll inhale through the nose, hold it, breathing in halfway through our lungs. We're going to hold the breath for a couple moments. Then complete the inhalation all the way up to the collarbones. Hold the breath for a moment. Then exhale out. Again, inhale halfway. Hold. Complete the inhalation all the way up to your collarbones. And exhale out after holding for a moment, long and smooth. And again, inhale halfway, pause. Complete the inhalation. Pause and exhale out. Inhale halfway. Pause. Complete the inhalation. Pause and exhale. Inhale. Pause. Complete the inhalation to the collarbones. Take a momentary pause here. Long, fluid exhale. Try to let that exhale be a little bit longer. Switching to full inhale in. Pause at the top. Exhale out halfway. Pause. Then complete the exhale. Pause. Inhale halfway. Oh, excuse me, full inhalation in. Pause at the top. Then exhale out halfway. Pause. And complete the exhale out with a pause at the end. Do 3 more rounds of inhaling all the way up and pausing on the exhale. When you complete those, come back to normal inhales and exhales and notice the quality of your breath now. Does your breath move more fluidly through the front, the back, and the sides of your rib cage? Let's bring the hands together in front and we'll sing an om together. Take a nice big inhale in. We'll start with a seated twist. Just bring your right hand behind you loosely. Take the front arm across. Start with a neutral neck, chin in line with your breastbone. Breathe into the rib cage. Allowing your mind to focus on the breath. Both inhale and exhale are important. Exhale, soften into center. And then find the twist to the opposite direction. This is a great opportunity to invite the breath into your kidneys on the back of the body, just underneath the floating ribs. Exhale, soften out to a center. And I'm just going to shake up the legs from being seated in Sukhasana, prepping to come to all fours. I'm going to come into cat-cow after child's pose. My preference is a wide-kneed variation, so there's room for my belly. So you can bring your toes together. And then we'll just pretend that you're a tree frog for a little bit, like you're climbing a tree. You can reach your hands forward and lower your head down. If this is too much in your body, you can also use a block underneath the forehead and allow your buttocks to be up in the air. As you come down, whatever prop you're using, connect the third eye. Or you can do the shoulder stretch variation that I started with. Have an awareness of your back body as you're breathing here. Take it into the lower ribs. Really breathe out on the exhalation phase. With your next inhale, just press up to all fours. Gaze in between the hands. For cat-cow, we're going to start with the inhale first. filling up the belly with the breath to look up and reaching the tail, the coccyx, towards the ceiling, and you can send your eyeballs long to the sky. Exhale, draw your belly button back towards the spine. It's a tucking of the tail. Gaze between the hands through to the back of the knees. And you can add gazing up to the belly button, tucking your chin. Inhale, fill up the belly. Look up. Exhale, hunch and round. Each time we're creating space between each vertebra. Notice if you have a tendency to muscle your way through this as opposed to breathing your way through the movement. So as you inhale and fill up the navel, that softens the organs down to the earth and decreases pressure on the vertebra. As you exhale, hunch and round, you're lifting up your organs too and hugging them back towards the spine. The breath is the initiation of the movement, not the muscles. Soften into neutral. We're going to go into thread the needle. We'll start with lifting through the right arm first. You're going to thread it on through. Palm comes to the sky. You come onto the right shoulder. Bring the ear down to the mat. You can close the eyes here and breathe. Your left hand can be placed by the shoulders, working on the twist between the shoulder blades. Or you can walk your hands out like a spider, lifting up onto the fingertips, like you're holding a grapefruit in your hands. Bringing the left hand down by the shoulders to press yourself back up. And we're just going to wiggle that out side to side. Wag the tail. And switch sides for threading the needle. So play with variations that do not create strain on your shoulders. Stay in your breath, inhaling and exhaling. You can spider walk the hands out, lifting up, creating space underneath the armpits. Bringing the hand back towards the shoulder to press up to all fours. And again, shake it out from side to side. We're going to drop into hip circles out to the right, just making a circle through the hips. This can be small, medium, or big. Following Goldilocks, doing what's just right for your body. Being mindful of your knee joint. But we're opening up all the joints in the body with the circling. Just creating some space between the structures. Next time you come up to 12 o'clock on the clock, switch directions, counterclockwise. Still breathing in and out through the nose. Coming back up to all fours. I'm going to do one cat-cow and then switch into chakra Vrksasana, which is really preparatory for Chaturanga Dandasanas. So inhale, look up, exhale, hunch and round, then press back onto the knees, drop the forearms, forehead comes into the mat, then inhale, snake on up like a cobra and look up. Exhale, hunch and round. This is too much on your body, stay with a cat-cow. Notice as I'm coming up, we're not splaying the elbows out. We're staying parallel arms next to the body, using our tricep muscles. Starting with the breath as you exhale and press back. As you come down, you find the inhale breath and you use that to help you come up. We're initiating the front line as we scoop up into our cobra. See if you can find smooth movement, almost like a circling or a spiral-like quality through the tissue. Next time you come up, stay up, wag it out a little bit. We're going to come into bird dog. We're just going to emphasize the arms first in bird dog. And this is a lengthening of the front body, the muscles, the abdominis rectus. So we'll reach out with the left arm first. Inhale, lengthen, bringing it parallel. Then exhale, float that down slowly with your breath. As your breath ends, the hand meets the floor. Begin your inhale through the belly, reaching out with the opposite arm. Initiate the exhale, lower that down. As your exhalation ends, the hand meets the floor. So again, inhale, reach forward. Exhale, lower that down. Inhale, lengthening through the front body, really reach through your fingertips, and exhale, lower that down. Now become aware of your shoulder blades here. The base of the shoulder blades, teres major is a muscle for support. I want you to find that just for a moment. Hug in just at the base of the scapula, your shoulder blades, and now reach forward, lengthen through the front line with stability from teres major. Exhale, lower that down. And again, reach forward. And lower that one down. Great. Grab your block, bring the block in between the hands. We're going to do puppy pose. This is a prep pose for downward facing dog. It helps us develop the frontline core we need. Reach your hands just slightly in front of the block. This may feel strange the first time. Draw your navel back and then lower the forehead onto the block, keeping the butt up into the air. And work at squaring your hips to the earth. Drawing the navel back, but lengthening through the front body from pubic bone to sternum. Stay with your breath. And inhale, slowly come back up. We can set the block to the side. And again, shake that out, wag the tail. Then we're going to use this to help find high plank in the upper arms. So walk your knees back a little bit from your shoulders. Bring the hands longer in front. Notice how I'm using a wide fingered base, and I'm really broadening from the pinky side through the thumbs here for support. Draw your navel back like we just did on your inhale. So you're using some core support. And then we're going to rock forward on the inhale, coming up over the wrist, lengthening through the front line. And take a few breaths here. And then we're going to come out of that, press back to a child's pose to rest the arms. Inhale, come back up to all fours. So another emphasis in this is that we're going to think about the shoulders and the tendons and the ligaments in the shoulders, and we're going to create more stability in them. So when we're leaning forward, navel comes back, but we're also creating stability and retraining stability in all the ligaments and tendons by loading our body weight over the wrist, activating the tendons, still breathing in and out. And to come on out of that, you can choose child's pose, or you can come up in Virasana and sit on the heels and take a break this way as well. So you pick what feels good in your body. And we'll do one more. Reach the hands out. Lean forward. Stabilizing in the core. Loading the tendons. And then we'll come back to a child's pose and rest the arms for a moment. Maybe you can stack the fist. Bring the third eye on top of the fist. Come into your breath. Breathe into kidneys. I'm going to transition. We're going to come on to our bellies next. So if you know you have a shoulder injury or wrist injury, just make your way onto your belly in a safe way to meet us in Sphinx pose, coming up onto the forearms. But if you'd like to try to work the upper body, and if you like doing chaturangas, feel free to do that. But otherwise, just rock forward again. Draw the navel back. We're going to use our core support. And we're going to lower down onto our bellies. And then finding Sphinx, which is a modified cobra, bring your forearms out in front. Be careful not to crunch up your lower back here. So stay low if that's better for your body. Find that awareness. If you're able to come up further, that's okay. But you can be wiggly like a cobra snake. See if you can wiggle from side to side a little. This doesn't have to be static. It can have a dynamic quality. Soften your glute muscles. Come into the front of your spine. And we're allowing the front of our spine to lengthen from the pubic bone all the way up through the front of our neck. Allowing the breath to flow in and out through the nose. We're going to take reverse Shavasana. We're going to lower on down. Turn your head to the left. Right cheek comes into the mat. Arms float next to your body. And breathe. Softening the ankles open. Relaxing the glutes. And turn your head to the opposite direction. Opposite cheek comes into the mat. We're going to come into locust. So bring the forehead back down. This is modified variation. Bring your legs a little bit closer together. You're going to kind of zip them up. Lift up your kneecaps just for a moment. Then bring the heels up off of the mat. Then we're going to float the arms out like you're flying an airplane, or you become the airplane. And then take your thumbs behind you. Feel your breath breathing into the mat. With each inhale, it'll lift you up just a little bit further. If this is easy for you, you can bring the arms straight ahead. Coming back to the airplane version, then we'll lower down, release that, turning the head to the left, right cheek goes into the mat. Turn your head to the opposite direction. Just bringing your head back to neutral. Bring your hands to the side. Hug the elbows in nice and tight to slowly press yourself up. Transition to Balasasana, child's pose, wide knee variation, counter posing. So we're stretching out the low back, the lumbars. Use your imagination here to imagine space between each of the vertebrae in your low back. Take nice, deep, fluid breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. And we'll slowly come on up to all fours again. You can shake that out a little bit, just check, especially if you get a lot of compression in your low back. I'm going to go right into a downward facing dog today. And I just realized I didn't take my socks off. If you want to use blocks, feel free to do that. Otherwise, tuck your toes. Find yourself floating back into a full downward facing dog. Find your feet about hip width apart. You can micro bend through the knees just a tad. Find length in your front body from pubic bone to sternum, the breastbone. See if you can bring a little bit more weight into the legs as opposed to the arms. So if you know that you're kind of leaning up over the hands, try to push back a little. So more body weight comes into the legs. Now start to pedal the feet. Activate through the base. Don't force the heels down so that you're not tearing any tissue around the knee joints. We're staying soft. And then if you still have the energy, just come into some micro bounces through the heels. We're strengthening and pre-stretching our Achilles tendons. And then we're going to walk the feet forward, nice and slow. You can do a nice bent knee here. Just hang over your bent knees. Allow gravity to create some length through the spine. Then we're going to use that to swing our arms straight forward to come up into a modified chair. So, and I got to change my video position a little bit so people can see me. There. So in modified chair, instead of being straight forward here and shortening the fibers, we're going to lengthen the fibers in the iliopsoas. Good. You can find a gaze point straight out in front of you. Focusing the mind on that point on the wall in front of you. or out through the window. And now straighten up, slight back bend in the upper thorax. And relax the arms down, finding the mountain pose. Stacking the hands on the dantian. Refocus the eyes on a point on the wall or out through the window. And relax the hands down. We'll step straight back with the left foot, so about hip width apart. You can just slightly kick the foot forward and swing it straight back. Put your hands on your hips. We're going to keep the hips straight forward. If it's easier on your knee, keep the knee straight here for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Otherwise, we're going to micro bend through that knee. Look down. You want your knee to float over the foot. And then you can bring your arms up. That's comfortable for your shoulders. You can also do cactus arms, dropping out through the elbows. Or you can even take a V with your upper arms. So whatever feels good through your shoulder girdle, play with it. Different vectors. And I encourage everybody to do something different every time, not the same thing. Focus your mind on the breath and on a point on the wall or through the window in front of you. And relax the arms down and step the foot forward. And if you want to shake that out, feel free to do that. And then we'll do opposite side. Right? Stepping straight back with the right foot. Again, we're squaring the hips straight forward. And if you just probably saw I almost fell. You want to make sure that you're strong in your base. So modify. So I went too far back with my back leg. So bring it forward a little bit if you need to. Then we're going to find the bend if that's comfortable for our body. We want to be able to look down at the knee and see the top of our foot underneath it. The knee's not falling inward too much or outward too much. We're just straight ahead. You can bring the arms straight up, or you can do any variation with the arms. I'm now doing more of a V for victory. Finding the gaze point and softening back into the breath and focused mind. Relaxing the arms down, step the back foot forward, and we'll find a mountain pose again, stacking the hands on the dantian. Bring the arms out to the side. We're gonna do a Kung Fu ha sound. We're gonna start with shrugging up the shoulders on the inhale. And as we drop, we're gonna go ha. But before we do that, I want you to find what you're looking at. So it could be a window or the wall in front of you, and you're gonna project the ha to the other side of that wall or window. So find your focal point. We'll inhale, we're gonna scrunch up. Ha! Again, inhale. Ha! And one more time. Ha! Bring the hands out in front of you. We're gonna do some push hand work. Inhale, open the hands like a book. Bring the hands back, soft fist. Exhale, push out, soften through the knees. Turn the hands towards each other. Inhale, straighten the legs, broad and open. Turn the hands to the sky. Exhale. Inhale, gather chi, prana, up overhead. You can take the eyeballs up. Exhale, bring that down into your heart. Bring the hands soft fist. Inhale, exhale, push the hands out. Turn the palms towards each other, broad and open, pulling taffy or chi. Exhale, soft elbows, palms to the sky. Inhale, scoop up. Look up. See your hands come together. Exhale, hands come back down into the heart. One more time. Inhale, soft fist. Exhale, set a boundary. Inhale, broaden your field. Soft elbows, balance. Inhale, scoop up. Exhale the hands down into the heart. Turn the palms face in on your sternum, connecting to heart energy. Moving into eagle pose, Garudasana. Swing the arms up, and you can bend through in the Utkatasana again. We're going to take the right arm under the left. Sink down a little bit further if it's comfortable for you. And unwind that, come back into Utkatasana, left arm under the right. Opposite way. And then we'll release that, shake it out. All right, we're going to come onto our backs next. And we'll need our 2 tennis balls and our single tennis ball for this version. So again, as a repeat, this tennis ball is going to go into either side of the spine for this piece. And you can use your blanket if you want for like a little mini pillow. But we'll start with the single tennis ball first. We're going to come down to restorative rest. We're just going to work some more myofascial release around the glutes and clear the spine to finish the practice today. So your back pocket muscle, the glute medius, if you put your hand back on your butt, the top of the hip, where the back pocket of jeans would go, this is where this one's going. So we're just going to slip the tennis ball underneath that right back pocket. And then we're going to use the leg for what we call a lever technique. So we're slacking the fibers in the posterior glutes as we drop the knee out. Once you find that, just breathe into it. Full inhales and exhales. If you'd like to add extending through the leg a little bit, you can drag the outside of your ankle away from your head. And then reach out through the heel and dorsiflex the foot. And bring that up. And then you'll just kind of scoop underneath and pull that tennis ball out. And let's do the opposite side. So again, it's the back pocket muscle. Glute medius is to be specific. And then we're going to soften open with the left knee, just meeting the tissue. So if you have high sensation, you're doing too much. Do less. Less is more in myofascial release and as well with the neurovascular release work. So we're just meeting the tissue where we can still breathe fully into it. If you'd like to add another playful variation, we could extend out through the right leg, creating a little bit of length, and then extend through the left heel. So creativity and permission to explore your own body. Let's see, if you feel any tension somewhere, you may want to pause and just take an extra breath into that tension. And then continue. Always staying with less is more, completing it all the way through, lengthening through the heel, coming into dorsiflexion, yoking of the foot, lengthen out. And then as you bring the feet back up to restorative rest, just pull that tennis ball out and set that to the side. So now we need our 2 tennis balls. And we're going to start with just above the sacrum at lumbar 5, right, the base. And again, this is going to go over the spinous processes of the spine. There's a groove on either side. Those tennis balls will fall right there. So just place that right underneath, being careful if this is too much on your body, just do micro cat cows instead. But we are going to do like a cat cow, but now we have this support of the tennis ball, so we can really drop our sacrum on an inhale, kind of like down, like we're sliding down a slide. And then exhale, drawing your navel back, and you should feel the tennis balls kind of massaging out the fascia on your lumbar spine. And we'll continue this little micro cat cow here. Go really slow, not to aggravate any of the nerves. We're not trying to go for high sensation, very low sensation, in fact. So it's an inhale, arcing, reaching through the tail. And exhale, drawing it down and back a little bit. Do that for a few more breaths. Right now, I'm not including the movement up through the chin. I'm just isolating between sacrum and L5. We could move this up to another set of vertebra if we had more time. If this is where you carry a lot of tension, I would recommend that. You can play with adding your eyeballs into the movement as you reach through the tail, taking your eyeballs long up overhead. Exhale, looking down. Okay, next time you exhale, kind of bring the legs a little bit closer together for a moment. And we're just going to drop the knees to the right a little bit, about 2 to 3 inches. Inhale back up and exhale, drop them 2 to 3 inches to the left. Some little micro movements here, back and forth. Always inhaling to center, exhaling as we drop the knees off to the opposite direction. Inhale, curl up off the balls for a second. Just set them to the side. We've got one more we're going to do with that today. Hug it back for a little bit. Check into your low back. And if it's helpful for you to wiggle a little bit, feel free to do that, or just stay static in the hug, dorsiflexing through the feet. The next one, we're going to go further up the spine at the base of the ribs, so between T12 and L1, if you know where that is. But you can reach around your back and find where your ribs, your lowest ribs are. So just find that and reach your hand into the spine. And that's going to be L1, your first lumbar. And we're going to bring those tennis balls to either side right there to T12. And we're just going to allow our body to arc over that. Relax your pelvis for a moment. So we're creating a gentle back bend through the thoracic lumbar junction. Take a few full body breaths here. And then we're going to play with rocking our knees out to the right, about 3 inches. Breathe in here and exhale on out. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, explore the left side, breathing in and breathing on out. Take that up to center and again, play to the opposite side. You could take it a little bit further if it feels comfortable, but not too far off midline. Each time taking a full breath in and out, inhaling up to center, explore the opposite side. And to come on out of that, you just tuck through the tail, press into the feet, lift up the tennis balls and set them to the side. We're going to drop open into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet come together. This will be our final resting posture of the day. Palms come to the sky. Close your eyes. Slowly drag the outsides of the ankles, feet together, away from the pelvis, balancing the pull of the adductors on the inside line of your legs. Reaching out through the heels, dorsiflex through the feet. If you'd like to take a pencil stretch, reaching the arms up overhead, lengthening your back line. You can even wiggle from side to side. And if you have time, resting down in Shavasana, corpse pose, coming into normal breath. Ending your practice here for as long as you need to. Namaste. So I know some of you have places you need to go, so feel free if anybody wants to jump on and ask a question, but we're finished with time. All right. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. See you next week.